Hey guys, and thanks for joining me today. It has been an interesting week in the shop, full of a variety of different types of projects. I have been working diligently to update all of my digital patterns so that they now include picture directions. But I've also been testing some new patterns, things that I'm getting ready to finalize and put in my shop. And I had a custom order for an educational setting. But first, I agreed to fix my kid's shirt. He just bought this shirt and it ripped up the side right next to the seam. So I had some feasible interfacing on hand and I sealed together the rip. And I think I did a pretty good job of matching the pattern. And then I used a brown thread because I thought it matched the pattern best. It would be disguised in the pattern. And I put a zigzag stitch over the rip.
And the next time he wore it, it ripped again. And it ripped on the sleeve. So, this is now scrap fabric.
I did have my regular orders for stuffed baby dolls and weighted baby dolls, but not as many as I normally do. This week, it was all about the unfinished doll, and I did run a sale this week. The unfinished dolls, I have the arms and legs stuffed because they are sewn into the body, so those have to be pre-stuffed. They have a very small amount of weighting in the bottoms of the feet and just in the fingertips. And then the rest of them is empty. It has a opening in the back where the stuffing can be put in, whatever the client wants to do with the doll. Unstuffed not only makes it cheaper to ship and easier to ship, you can put lots of different facial features on that you can't do when the doll is already stuffed. So for example, if you wanted to use a post for the eye, or if you wanted to iron on a face, it's much easier to do it while the doll is unstuffed. So I had a ton of orders for these this week, all kinds of different sizes, and also adult size dolls. I sold at least 2 or 3 that were 60 inches tall, so more of a people pillow than a doll. But I did get a custom order. So I did get one custom order this week. Yeah, actually, it was last week, and I've been working on it. It was a STEM teacher who asked me to make a 12-inch doll that weighed at least 3 pounds. And he just asked me if I could do it. And so I took out my scraps and I made a 12-inch doll. I love this scrap fabric. I made this 12-inch doll. It's not proportional. It was just a sample run. So it is 12 inches. It's 13 inches. 13 inches. And I could barely fit. It wasn't even 2 pounds. It was 1.11 pounds, I think, was all that would fit in that doll. So I still hadn't heard back from the client. This was still all I had was 12 inches, 3 pounds. So I made this second doll and I just enlarged the features. So this one, the arms aren't enlarged, but the legs are enlarged. And I put the wrong size head on it. It kind of looks like that guy from Beetlejuice. But I also put in a booty, and that added a little extra weight. And this one would fit just about 3 pounds. If I made the head bigger, it would have fit 3 pounds. Now, I did hear from the client, and he said that he needed it to be 4 inches from the floor to the knee. And the reason is because they were doing a STEM project where the kids were going to be building chairs. And he needed the doll to fit in the chair and be a certain weight. And with the second time that I hear from him, he's telling me that he would like the doll to weigh 4 pounds. So I had to do a little math because in general, because you can see this doll is 15 inches tall And 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 inches would be up here on the thigh. So the doll would definitely have to be bigger. So in general, the legs are generally the same size as the torso, and the torso is about the same size as the arm, just the arm is a little shorter. And then the head is like 62% of the total height of these. So given those measurements, the doll would have to be at least 17 inches tall. So I took that to the bench and I made my third doll, which was this one. This one's 19 inches. A little over 19 inches actually. But I did fit 4 pounds in it. This one was just a sample. I kind of roughly sewed it together. But the deal was 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where the knee would be. And it's a little high, but it's better. So then I went ahead because I wanted to get it shorter now because that was too tall. So I made a fourth one, which was this one. And this one is 17 inches tall, but it definitely made the arms too long. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. The knee would be right here. It's not ideal, but it would work. And I did make sure to put a dart in the behind so that it would sit flat on the chair. So this one I didn't like very much. I wanted to change the arms. So I went ahead and made a fifth one. And the fifth one is 18 inches tall. And I don't like how the legs are too close together there. That was an issue for me. And I tried to change the shape of the head, and again I ended up with that Beetlejuice head. So that wasn't going to fly. But the arms were the correct length. And it was at this point, after making this one, that I heard from the client again, and I went ahead and made the final draft. So this is the final doll. So draft number 6, he wanted a neutral color. He mentioned gray. I actually think black would be really nice. But on the final doll, I did sew in the joints on the knees and the elbows so that it would sit nicely in a chair. And it is a little more than 17 inches tall. And this is what it looks like sitting in its chair, and it can be posable. So he linked the posting to his organization, and then I'll just hear back from them. But originally they wanted 4. He recently said they're just going to take 3. So I just put a general listing up. Maybe there's other people who want it too. And this is generally how I get new listings anyway, is when a client suggests something, I make a bunch and see if other people want it too. And that was my project this week. So you might be wondering how expensive it is to keep making all these dolls, and I'll show you how I manage that. So you can see on this doll especially that I have used scraps to put it together. I actually have a big basket that's full of all the leftover scraps from the dolls that I make for my shop. And those get used in the creation of patterns and other projects. So while the fabric does cost money, this would have been otherwise thrown away and I would have had to buy new. So this is how I save money on the outside. Now for the inside, I am using just stuffing from a throw pillow that I got at the thrift store, and that gets reused. So when the doll has served its purpose, it gets cut open, and all of the stuffing and sand gets used for something else. Okay. And now I've got this fluff in here, and I'm just going to shake it out And this gets stored in another container with other polyfill that has touched sand. And it all gets reused, and that's how I save money when I make patterns. And now I'm going to recycle that sand. So lots more than there was in there. I think it was 16 pounds. And then there's my polyfill. This is the stuff that has touched sand, and it gets reused. And I also worked on my free pattern for November, which is a stuffed turkey. So this is made out of upholstery fabric. It's just pinned together because I tested the pattern. This was the third time I made one. And you can stuff it. So that is going to be my free pattern for November. And hopefully I'll have that ready to go in the next week or so, and I'm sure you'll see the video pop up in your feed. If not, hit the notification bell so that you can see it when it comes in. And I'll see you next time. Bye.